Hey guys, I'm Viper and welcome to a brand new video. Today's one is the United States Grand Prix preview. Now, apologies for the background footage. I know it's of Indianapolis, probably wouldn't have guessed, but unfortunately my Circuit of the Americas wouldn't work for some reason. It's a bit weird, that's a bit strange, I don't know. Anyway, ignoring that fact aside, time to talk about the United States Grand Prix, of course, for this weekend. And it probably won't be any different from last year. Now, I have to admit, maybe Ferrari can probably boast a challenge, despite if they use their tokens this weekend, then there's a good chance that they can easily, be right up there with the Mercedes, like they usually were. Well, like they were in Hungary and so on. So, I think qualifying and the race are going to be quite, close this year. But I think in most terms, it probably will be Mercedes come out on top, and Ferrari will probably be second and, runners up, with Williams and the likes of Red Bull and also Force India fighting out for the rest of the spots. So, yeah, it's not really too much of an event to talk about, but in the past, obviously, United States Grand Prix has changed over the past 30 or 40 years, going from Detroit. I think there was only one race in Detroit and one in Long Beach and all that sort of stuff. Now obviously it came to Indianapolis, which you can see on screen now, and obviously it moved to Circuit of the Americas, I think 3 years ago, back in 2012, which was when it was a brand new circuit on the calendar. It's provided some interesting racing. I won't say it's been spectacular racing, but it's provided some decent racing, that's for sure. There's not been any controversy or anything like that, thankfully. We had Hamilton versus Vettel, I think it was, in 2012, 2013, so Vettel dominate near enough, and in 2014 I think we pretty much saw it was the two Mercs with Hamilton coming out on top by, I think it was 3.8 seconds, I think, at the end, and Vettel managed to fight his way up into the points despite starting from the pit lane. So just shows you he's still good for a four-time world champion. I mean, bear in mind he didn't win any races last year, but that was probably one of the highlights of his year, in my personal, my point of view, that was probably one of the highlights of the year. That in Singapore last year, but obviously he's had so many good moments this year, Vettel, compared to last year, so obviously it's easy to overlook that this has probably been his best season since 2013, to be fair. Now obviously that's only because last year probably wasn't a good year for him, but still, nonetheless. Anyway, moving aside from all that stuff, the Circuit of the Americas, pretty interesting track, tricky turn first sector. Especially the first turn going as it goes uphill and it's a sharp left-hander, so I expect to see some contact going into turn one for the race, that's for sure. I'm not going to say if there's anybody who's going to have an accident or anything like that, because obviously it's pretty daft if I say, oh, I think he's going to crash now, because you don't know. I could probably guess that Maldonado might stay out of trouble, but then again, we are talking about Maldonado here, so God knows what he might end up doing. But anyway, as for the race side of things, qualifying side of things, I think it'll be the two Mercedes coming out in front now. I think Rosberg's been on form a bit better in the past 2 or 3 races, so maybe Rosberg for pole, perhaps, unless Hamilton pips him, then most likely Rosberg on pole, I think. Probably see, because he did do quite well last year, so I could probably expect to see, it's probably a bit ballsy saying this, but I'm going to say Rosberg takes pole. And then obviously I think it'll be Hamilton will win the race. Rosberg will still come second though. Vettel will be third, so no surprise there. Then it'll probably be Ricciardo fourth. I'm gonna say Bottas fifth, Raikkonen sixth, Massa seventh, Danny Kvyat eighth, Verstappen ninth, and 10th spot goes to Nico Rosberg. I know it's a bit of a weird top 10 to guess all that, but then again, there's only so many people who can fit in the top 10, which is 10 people, but still, not much to think about really when it comes to it. But yeah, I think it'll be quite an interesting race. From like the midfield will be quite interesting, that's what I mean. The front runners it'll probably be boring, just like it has been for most races this year, apart from Singapore, I think, where it was actually a pretty decent race for once. But I think in terms of the midfield, they've always had a good battle, a good scrap, so expect to see quite a few battles going on throughout that. Mana could probably do well here, but I'm not saying they could do fantastically well. Just depends how many cars retire throughout the race, and I think Hamilton may be able to tie a championship up here if he manages to get enough points, but we'll have to see about that, won't we? But unfortunately that's all we have time for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to the like button and be sure to hit that subscribe button, because every subscriber counts and you guys help promote this channel even further. Let me know your predictions down in the comments. I'll be intrigued to see what you come up with and see who your top 5 are for the race, as well as who get pole. But until next time, I've been Vibe Racing, you guys have been awesome, this has been the US Grand Prix preview, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ta-ra!